Well guys, today is a bittersweet day. Yes, you read that title right. This is likely the last Cooking with Jack video I will ever make. I've been thinking about this for a few weeks now, and honestly, I have combed through the Cooking with Jack channel more than you guys could probably ever imagine, and I really just think we've seen it all at this point. I mean, we've seen some pretty horrifying stuff come from that channel, but it seems like Jack has moved on to greener pastures, making recipes like keto Cheez-Its, which is essentially just burnt cheese. Basically, Jack has started making things that are quite literally physically impossible for a human to mess up. Jack has finally found his limit. And while that might be good for the state of Jack's stomach, it's not very good for us. So I have decided it is for the best to formally retire the Cooking with Jack show series. And honestly, I'm a little bit emotional about it. I mean, I know it seems stupid. It's just one guy who has absolutely no idea how to cook, but it's just become such a staple on the channel, and I've made so many videos and I've loved making every single one of them. I'm sad to see it go, but a time must come for everything. So this will be a compilation of every single Cooking with Jack show video I have ever made, and there's a lot of them. So sit back, relax, grab a few tissues, because let's face it, you're probably gonna be crying by the end of this, and let's begin. Please subscribe. The Cooking with Jack Show is The Cooking with Jack Show. The Cooking with Jack Show. The Cooking with Jack Show. The Cooking with Jack Show.
Grab this chicken. What is this? Place it on here. There we go. Here we go.
I feel like most people are pretty well in tune with what they're good at and what they're bad at, but obviously, not everybody is this way. If they were, this video would not be possible. Now, cooking is one of those things that I think a lot of people misjudge their abilities, because it seems like the worst cooks always think they're the best. And the YouTuber Cooking with Jack Show is a perfect example of this phenomenon. Now, Jack has been on YouTube for a very long time. He's been making videos for nearly 15 years now. He started uploading not too long after YouTube was created, and you would think with all that time to practice and refine his craft, he would eventually, learn how to cook. But as I'm sure you figured out by the title of this video, that is not the case. Now, Jack has had a lot of videos go viral just because how bad they were, but majority of them are over a decade old at this point. So let's see if Jack has gotten any better, or if he's just permanently stuck in his old ways. Please subscribe. Okay, so we're gonna be watching this like two-part series where he compares wet versus dry brines for chicken. And if you happen to be eating right now, I would recommend you stop before we go on.
I'm not following a recipe. I just pulled out a bunch of ingredients that I want to put in my buttermilk. That's it. I'm doing this literally just out of the top of my head there. Not following anybody. Okay. I don't need, it's a pretty thick buttermilk. I don't think I'm gonna need two of these. I think we just need one of these, so.
Okay, so I did a little research, and most recipes recommend 1 quart of buttermilk for a whole chicken, and he was thinking he was going to need an extra half gallon. Yeah, we're already not off to a great start here.
We're gonna season this buttermilk. So I got a whole container of buttermilk. All right, and I'll get you the recipe down below once we're done deciding what we're putting in here. All right, we're gonna do pepper. And you can go heavy because it's gonna be a brine, so it's not going to be, whatever sticks to the bird, sticks to the bird, whatever doesn't, doesn't. All right, so there's the pepper. Here's the salt. There we go. Here's the oregano.
I can't wait for the measurements that he provides for this recipe. 3 shakes of pepper, 4 dumping motions of salt, seeing the ABCs while you're dumping the oregano in, and once you get to F, you can stop.
Putting some herbs in here too. Okay. Oh, that smells good already. I'm hungry. And I just had my 10 a.m. shake. It's the morning time right now that I'm filming. This is basil. Okay, now this is a seasoning we picked up at Sam's Club, and it is a cilantro lime seasoning.
What flavor is he going for here exactly? I mean, I can see some cilantro lime on like some chicken wings, but like on a creamy buttermilk chicken? I have a feeling that might clash a little bit.
You can go to Sam's and look for it, but I'm thinking we need this. Not sure why, so we will put cilantro lime seasoning in here. There we go, put a lot in. The heavier the better. Okay, and this is exactly what it looks like. Red pepper flakes. Gotta have some heat. Love the heat. So we'll put that in here. There we go. I got my chicken out of the wrapper. It's room temperature.
Just look at the size difference between these two ingredients. You could bathe an entire family of chickens with this brine.
Now it's time to see how much of this we can get in there. We're going to fill the bowl up with this buttermilk. Make sure the chicken's all covered.
Looks yummy, huh? This is not even a brine at this point. This is a milk soup with chicken garnish. This has gotta be some sort of crime.
You're going to flip this chicken halfway through your brining. So it's marinated all night long. Just want to be honest with you. Not sure how this is going to work out. My long sleeve, got to pull it up a little bit.
That doesn't even look edible. It looks like an obstacle in a video game where if you jumped in it, you'd instantly die.
Make sure I don't get it dirty. I'm going to grab this chicken. What is this?
If this ever happens to you, this is a very good sign to not eat what that person is making. If they start pulling stuff out of their cauldron of chicken and goop and are asking themselves what is this after they prepared it, do not eat that.
Oh, that's the, is that the neck? I don't know. We'll just put that right there and cook it. See what happens. All right, so let's let that all drip off. Right there. Place it on here. There we go. Okay, we're gonna roast this. So it's got a little bit of golden brown around it. It's got a nice crisp exterior.
Jack, that is not what I would call crisp. I would call that barely touched by the flame. Looks damn near raw.
It feels moist. Feels good. We're gonna give this a try in a minute. Let it cool. Let it rest. Remember to always let your meat rest, okay? This did a great job. If you look at this other side. Let me turn it around here. Ouch. It's hot. There you go. Let me just cut off a piece and I'll give it a taste. There we go. Nice. We're gonna try it out. See how the
Jack? Oh, hold on now, Jack. We can talk about this. Please do not eat that chicken. That chicken is not even halfway cooked. That is raw chicken you're about to eat, Jack.
flavor is. See if it took. Then we're gonna compare the flavor to the dry rub, and I'm using dry rub of the powdered buttermilk, and we're gonna dry rub it. Okay, here we go.
Jack, come on now. You have glasses on. You have to have some sort of working eyesight. That chicken is literally fucking hot pink. It's like a highlighter. Why are you eating this?
Okay, it's interesting. There's kind of a creaminess to it.
Yeah, those are the salmonella colonies you're tasting, Jack. Nice and creamy. Yes, they have now invaded your body.
I don't know how to explain. Kind of a sweetness from the buttermilk that's inside the chicken. So it did penetrate. It did well. I can taste the herbs. It almost tastes like a Thanksgiving turkey. Let's compare this on how this took compared to the dry. I expect the dry one to do better. I don't know why. I may be wrong. This may be a stupid experiment, but we're going to do it anyway, right? All right, I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Alright, so let's see how the dry rub compares to this monstrosity. It doesn't have much to beat, so it has that going for it. I'm gonna skip the beginning and the preparation because it really is all the same. The only difference is that he uses buttermilk powder.
It's been in it for days. So what we want to do is get the excess off.
So he specified in a comment that it's set in his fridge for 4 days, which is like double how long raw chicken is supposed to stay in a fridge. So we're already off to a great start.
You're figuring your normal oven at 350 would be between 50 and an hour, 50 minutes to an hour. All you do is measure the thigh meat, just put your little thermometer in there. If it's around, it has to be at least 165. Some people like it up as high as 185, but just thermometer your meat. I like to take chicken breast meat up to 170.
Jack, based off your last video, I have a hard time believing you even own a meat thermometer. If you do, you most certainly did not use it on that last chicken, because I'm guessing that thing would have measured around 60 degrees.
Tammy and I are relaxing, and we're in our recliners. The timer goes off on Google, says, "Up, your timer's up." So like 5 minutes later, I'm like, "Hey, didn't our timer just go off? We need to go check the chicken." And we probably went about a minute longer than we wanted to.
You know, Jack, I think that might just be a blessing in disguise for you. Because one more chicken like the last one you had, and it might just be your last.
I had in my head I was going to come in here and go, "Oh, it's good, and it's a little bit better than the wet one." Guys, listen to me. Stop what you're doing. A dry brine is 100 times better. In this case, I don't know about other brines, but
I think the dry brine is better in this case because the chicken is actually kind of cooked this time. Maybe that's just me, though. Well, that's enough Jack for one day, I do believe. You know, it's actually kind of inspiring. This guy has 500,000 subs on YouTube, multiple brand deals. I think he even has a barbecue sauce that's sold in Walmart. It really shows that anybody can do anything. So if you're an aspiring chef out there and you ever have a bad day, just remember, if Jack made it, you can too.
oh, that's delicious. So let me show you how I make Lazy Man's Taco.
The Cooking with Jack show is an award-winning YouTube cooking show that produces only the highest quality recipes. Yeah, every word of that is a lie. If you're new to the channel and this is your first time being exposed to the Cooking with Jack show, boy are you in for a ride. Today we're going to be taking a second look at my favorite Cooking with Jack show series, Lazy Man's Cooking, where Jack takes some of the most unbelievably simple recipes to begin with and tries to dumb them down even further. We're gonna be starting off with Lazy Man's Tacos, where Jack literally insults everybody on the planet who has ever made a taco before, and then move on to Lazy Man's Drinks, which I think is my new favorite YouTube video. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining me on the show. Today we're gonna do another Lazy Man's video. Now, as you remember before, we did Lazy Man's Lasagna.
Alright, so if you haven't seen my video where I talk about his quote, Lazy Man's Lasagna, I would highly recommend it. Spoiler alert, he doesn't even use lasagna. That's going to be a common theme.
Came out really good. A lot of people loved it. It's delicious. Well, this time we're gonna do another Lazy Man recipe. It's called Lazy Man's Taco. Now, the reason why it's called Lazy Man's Taco is because I am the laziest person I know. Two things I hate about tacos. One, when you go to eat a taco, it runs all out the other side, runs down your arm, it's a total mess, sitting here licking it.
Well, Jack, here's a thought. Maybe it would help your taco spillage a little bit if you didn't hold the shell at a 75-degree angle. I mean, you're holding this thing like it's a drink.
This is disgusting. I can't stand it. It's too much work to eat a taco. And two, when you bite a taco, it pretty much just goes everywhere.
Jack, I think your instruction on how to eat a taco was given incorrectly. I mean, who taught you to eat like this? I don't think I've ever been eating a taco and have it just completely disintegrate on me like that. I don't even know how you did that.
So those are the things I hate about tacos. So let me show you how I make Lazy Man's Taco. All right, so what we're gonna do first is we're going to brown the ground beef. You just put it in a pan, fry it up, and get that all nice and brown, and then bring it back over here. Now, while the meat is browning, we're gonna cut up our tomato and onions. Just gonna dice them up.
I could be wrong, but I don't even think he took the outer layer of that onion off. Is this some sort of ancient method I don't know about, where you just eat the entire onion, no waste?
It's all nice and hot, a little ground beef.
Beautiful, brown. Take the cheese first. You're gonna wanna sprinkle that right on top there. Give that a moment, because that's just gonna melt right into the meat, just from the heat alone, okay? Then you take a little bit of your tomatoes, you throw that on top, just like you're making a taco.
Yeah, Jack, you're right. Just like you'd be making a taco. So how is this lazy man's tacos? I would argue this is more work. At best, this is just taco salad. It's a different dish. Just like the so-called lasagna, you can't just make an entirely different dish with similar ingredients and call it lazy.
A little bit of sour cream right there. Beautiful. All right, so now you got all your taco stuff together. Now, here's where the chips come in. You're gonna take your chips, you're gonna gracefully just stick them around the perimeter. Beautiful. Like this. You gotta be quick because the baseball game's gonna start any minute.
Is this a joke? I mean, Jack sees what he's doing, right? He is essentially just making a taco that crumbled into a bowl. The one thing he vowed to destroy. This is just a broken taco.
All right, so here you go. That's it. Sit down, grab a spoon, grab a fork, eat this, dip the chips in, anything you want to do. It's beautiful. Let's give that a try. It looks simple because it is simple, so let's take a little taste, and it's delicious too. If you've ever had this before, it's total taco.
I mean, this is quite literally just nachos, right? I mean, sure, I guess that's kind of like a taco broken down, but it's just nachos. Maybe call it like clean man tacos, because I don't really see how this would be any easier or quicker to make than just normal tacos. The whole lazy man doesn't really fit into this, I don't think. Okay, so for the lazy man's drinks, he shows us how to make 4 different drinks. And for the first 2, I can sorta kinda understand why you'd show these. One of them is like a healthier fruit punch and the other one is a virgin Bloody Mary. But the last 2 have got to be the most unnecessarily explained things I have ever heard in my life.
This next one is called iced coffee. You've probably seen it at McDonald's. You've probably seen it at Starbucks. This is real simple to make. You don't have to spend all the money. Get some cold coffee, pour it on ice. Take some of your favorite sweetener.
So, if you haven't noticed yet, this is not like Jack's special recipe for iced coffee, some sort of unique flavor of iced coffee. Jack felt the need to put out a tutorial on how to mix coffee and cream. I feel like if you are capable of navigating to this video, you don't need this explained.
I'm using Splenda. You can use sugar. You can use equal, sweet and low. You can do honey, I don't care, do whatever you want. Add your sweetener. Take half and half, warm milk, any type of a cream you want to add to it, pour it right in, like you would normally do for your coffee.
Wait, hold on, now I'm just confused. If he's saying like you normally do, he thinks his audience is people who are drinking coffee normally. So why does he think he needs to explain how to do this? I don't think we'll ever be on the same dimensional plane as Jack. He has obviously ascended far beyond our understanding.
Oh, that's delicious. Before I get into the last drink, I want to tell you about this pitcher. My wife picked it up at Walmart for like $8. And I'm like, that is so cool. It's a nice big glass pitcher. So check that out. And I don't even work for Walmart. Walmart's not paying me or anything. So stop the comments. I can hear them coming already. But this is really cool. It's got a nice design. Some of the ice goes through, some of it doesn't.
You know, Jack, I can see why your viewers might think that Walmart is paying you. I mean, that is quite literally the most basic pitcher I have ever seen. You are describing what every pitcher does, and you're selling it up like it's some sort of state-of-the-art technology. It's a big cup.
And I looking at it, I'm like, something doesn't look right? And I'm looking closely. There's stuff floating in the ice water. And it's crazy, but there are these cucumber slices that I'm doing right now, and they're floating all through the water. And I'm tripping out. I'm like,
Ew, you gotta be kidding me.
That has got to be the most insulting thing that I think could possibly happen in the world of cooking, is for Jack to find something you made gross. I mean, this man has eaten straight up raw chicken before and not even flinched. If he finds your cooking gross, you need to reevaluate your life. Alright, so the rest of the video is just Jack fawning over cucumber water. I think he's getting paid by Big Cucumber or something, because there's no way that a human can love cucumber water as much as Jack seems to. But can we really just appreciate that Jack felt it was necessary to teach people how to cut up cucumbers and drop it in a pitcher? I mean, seriously, if you're looking that up, I don't think you should be allowed to hold a knife. Well, there you have it, another Cooking with Jack video to add to the collection. I wasn't really disgusted by anything in this video as per usual, more just racking my brain with how anybody could possibly come up with these video ideas. Next on the Cooking with Jack show, how to make ice cubes.
Do you know what time it is? It's time for Aunt Myrna's recipes.
And it looks beautiful. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? Here's to delicious tasting.
The Cooking with Jack show has become a bit of a staple on this channel. Now, if you've never seen my Cooking with Jack show videos, depending on how you look at it, you are about to witness either the greatest or the worst cooking you've ever seen in your life. If you define great cooking as making things that are enjoyable to eat, well then, this might not be the video for you. But if great cooking to you means making recipes so outlandish, traversing flavor palettes that nobody dared to conquer, and a whole lot of cheese, well then I've got a treat for you. Aunt Myrna's Party Cheese Salad. Now I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this title kind of scares me, because I've never heard of a cheese salad. I'm pretty sure that might be illegal to even combine those two words. And then I don't know what could possibly make it a party cheese salad, so we're in for a wild ride. Buckle up. Please subscribe.
This week we're doing party cheese salad. It's really cool. So let's get this thing started. We're gonna cook all this on the stove, then we're gonna pour it in this glass dish, which I've never used in my whole life. I think my mom gave me this, but I'm gonna have a chance to use this, and then we're gonna chill it. So it's gonna be awesome. Let's get started right now. Wait till you see this.
Yeah, I wish I could have waited a little bit longer. This is not okay, Jack. You are not about to actually put these ingredients together, are you? Did you accidentally, like, glue two halves of different recipes together? Like, half of the ingredient list for street tacos, and then, like, half the list for pecan pie? I mean, what's going on here, Jack? This is not a recipe.
I never would have put these ingredients together had it not been for Aunt Myrna. You got cream cheese, pimentos, Cool Whip, crushed nuts, any kind that you like. I'm using pecans. Lemon, or you can use lime jello, celery, bell pepper, pineapple, and American cheese. Can you believe this?
No, Jack, I really can't. I'm hoping I'm about to wake up from a dream right now. Because you can't actually be doing this, Jack. You're gonna get in trouble. Combining these ingredients is an instant life sentence.
All right, get your jello mix. You're gonna do one large jello, lemon or lime, or you're gonna do 2 small packets. I grabbed a large one.
Okay, so I know, like, combining Jell-O with not sweet ingredients, you know, stuff like peppers, is somewhat normal, but I feel like I've only ever heard it being referred to as bad. I mean, has anybody ever had a positive experience with random things being Jellified? I can't imagine so.
I'm not even sure what utensil to use for this.
Jack, there is no correct utensil. We're already breaking all of the culinary rules by allowing this. Why worry about trivial things like a utensil when you're making this?
Okay, once the jello is dissolved, you're gonna add, I chopped up the cream cheese. You're gonna add all your cream cheese in there, and you're going to mix that until it totally mixes in, totally melts down. Chopped celery.
There is absolutely nothing that could have made this recipe worse than adding celery. Celery is the worst vegetable on this entire planet. I don't see how anybody enjoys it. It literally tastes like perfume water. That's it. Crunchy perfume water. That's what you enjoy? You should be ashamed.
Bell peppers. Pimento. The nuts. We're going to mix that in. I can't even begin to explain to you how amazing tasting this was.
Jack, I'm sure you love your Aunt Myrna, but this video was not necessary. You could have just told her it was good. You didn't have to lie to us, because there is no way this actually tastes good at all. I can imagine exactly what this tastes like, and it's reminiscent of vomit.
It looks horrible, but I'm telling you, Aunt Myrna never has failed me yet, and I have had this. So I hope mine turns out as good as hers, have as good as hers. I'll be in business. All right, here's a crucial ingredient. Your whipped cream. Let's get that out there.
Jack, like 65% of this dish is just processed cream. There hasn't even been any cheese yet. I was promised a party cheese salad. Right now I'm getting a pepper and pecan milkshake.
Gonna mix that in gently. Don't wanna spill over. I'm gonna get my glass dish here. Then you're gonna pour it in the dish carefully. Kind of mix it around so the pineapple is all throughout the, just make sure all your ingredients are all throughout the dish, okay? Take your spoon gently through. You can smell, wow, the lemon and the pineapple are just busting out. And crazy enough, the last step, you're gonna sprinkle on some cheese on top.
Jack, that is the last thing that I would call crazy on this channel. At this point, I expect everything to be topped with cheese, especially something called a cheese salad. Matter of fact, I think this is the least cheese I've ever seen you use.
Now I'm gonna chill this overnight, and then we're gonna take a look at it in the morning. It's gonna be solid. It's gonna be cold, it's gonna be sweet, it's gonna be delicious. We've only been chilling this for about 4 hours, but as you can tell, it's completely solid and cold, and it looks beautiful. Look at that. Doesn't that look great?
Honestly, Jack, no. It does not look great. It quite simply looks like somebody threw up into a pan and then stuck it in the freezer. I mean, I won't even believe you if you say it's good because I just know in my heart that it's not.
Place it on a plate. Come on. There we go. It almost has like a pudding effect. We're going to give that a try. Look at how beautiful that looks. Mmm. Wow. So good. I know it. Of course, I don't know if mine came out as good. So here's to delicious tasting.
Jack, I can literally see the pain in your eyes. You are lying. Aunt Myrna is not going to see this video. Let your true emotions be known. That looked like you were being held at gunpoint.
It blows my mind that it's so sweet and dessert-like and has all those vegetables in it. And American cheese on top. It is really... I can't explain this to you guys. It's sweet and it's crunchy and it's got a custard feel to it on your tongue. It's beautiful.
Y'all are seeing what I'm seeing, right? He brings it up to his mouth like every 3 seconds trying to make himself take another bite, but he just can't make himself. It is that bad. He literally cannot even make himself take one more bite for the camera. And this man has eaten raw chicken. You know, there's something almost impressive about this channel. He's been making YouTube videos for like a solid decade, and he still manages to create recipes that shock the entire planet. I mean, that is skill in the kitchen. But this video has given me a little bit of hope for Jack. I was honestly beginning to believe that he actually just had no taste buds, but since he was unable to eat this, I have hope. The Cooking with Jack show, the YouTube cooking show that inspired many of the greatest chefs today to pick up a pan. Is that a saying? Pick up a pan? Probably not, but I'm gonna keep it. And today we are continuing our journey into the greatest cooking series ever, the Lazy Man recipes. And today I think we have reached the pinnacle of lazy cooking. Lazy Man's Pizza and Garlic Bread. Now quick spoiler alert, nothing he makes in this video resembles anything he mentioned in the title. But I think that's kind of expected now. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
Another Lazy Man's recipe. Well, are you ready? Another Lazy Man's recipe. This one we're going to start off with. We're going to do 2 of them on the show. First one we're going to do is Lazy Man's Pizza. people have been asking, well, let's see you make pizza, because I ripped on the pizza places. Pizza Hut and Papa John's and Costco just had like the nastiest pizza.
You know, this should probably go down as the most unaware statement ever made by a human being. I mean, after you see what he's gonna try and pass off as pizza, he should honestly go to prison for attacking anybody else's attempt at a pizza.
So I'm going to show you how to do it quickly and easy. All right, see, here's all you need. This is easy. English muffins.
I mean, if you are following a pizza recipe and the first ingredient is English muffins, there should be a giant alarm bell going off in your head. To the people who have never had an English muffin, it is about the least desirable texture for the crust of a pizza.
Shredded mozzarella cheese. You can use different cheese, you know, if you want the Mexican blend, whatever. Here's the sauce that I got ripped off on. And these new little, check this out. My wife found these at Costco. They're like little mini pepperonis.
Yeah, Jack, I'm sorry, but I'm like 95% certain those are just dog treats. I think your wife is trying to poison you.
All right, you're going to lay out the all the English muffins. And just simply start putting a big glop on each one. You can go around and spread it later. Okay, we add the cheese. Put a little pinch on each one. Once again, this is my house, so I can be as messy as I want. That's what I love about doing this here. I have no idea how these pepperonis are going to work out, so we're just going to kind of toss them around there. And
What does that mean, Jack? You don't know how the pepperonis are gonna work out? Are you expecting them to go rogue? Does anybody actually like pepperoni? I feel like that's some sort of myth perpetuated by like big pepperoni. I know I've like witnessed people ordering pepperoni pizzas, but like y'all get paid for that, right? No way you're actually just enjoying a pepperoni pizza, right?
There we go. So here's the finished product. We're gonna pop this in under the broiler in the oven. And once again, there's no specific time length. Depends on how much cheese, how much stuff you put on there. You're going to watch the cheese. When it's all completely melted, then you're gonna pull it out. This is kind of important. Depends on how hungry you are. I'm gonna put my pizza about halfway in. You can go on the top shelf, but it's closer to the flame. You're gonna have to be right on top of your pizza, watching it carefully.
Wait a second, I just realized nothing is cooking here. All of these are pre-prepared products. He's treating this like some sort of NASA experiment. You don't have to be on top of your pizza, just let them warm up. You'd have to try to mess this up.
And it could burn, so I like to take my time, go to the middle rack, stay further from the broiler flame, which is up above, and that will give me more control over the pizza so I don't burn it. Okay, it's been about, I would say 12 minutes. If you take a look here, oh, look at those babies. Look how beautiful. Now for those of you who don't know when it's done, you see how there's little touches of brown? Let me just tip this up a little bit here. See the cheese browned a little bit there, browned a little bit there.
My God, what audience is Jack shooting for? I mean, he's treating this like the people watching it are 4 years old. Alright, so if you've never assembled a Lunchable pizza before, this is how you do it. You see the cheese? When it starts to cook, that means it's cooked. The more you know.
And this one here, same thing. Little browning, just lightly. The cheese is melted, the pepperoni sizzling. It's absolutely delicious. This is the one I want to taste, right there, that one. The one you saw on camera. Now, some of you have said, Jack, please stop eating on camera because it's killing us. We're starving. It looks great.
Jack, my boy, I feel like I'm watching Shutter Island here. You gotta snap back into reality. Nobody on the planet has ever said those words to you. This is a Lunchables pizza. Nobody wants it.
So I'm just going to take a bite and let you know how it tastes. I'm not going to rub it in at all.
Yeah, you know, I probably could have gone my entire life without seeing that, and I likely would have been just fine. And you know, the same probably goes for you, but we suffer together on this channel.
Wow. That was good. Yeah. You want to buy it? Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that to you. That was so cold. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I can't either. I honestly feel like I have a lawsuit on my hands. You're lucky I like you, Jack.
So now let's get in close again, and I'll show you how to do the Lazy Man's garlic bread. And by the way, if anybody knows the difference between Italian bread and French bread, you know what? It all smells good to me. Could you write me or Twitter me and let me know what the difference is? They always look the same to me.
Jack. That's racist.
So it doesn't matter. They're kind of interchangeable. But there might be a difference that I don't know about. So let me know. So here's what you got. You got your bread. You've got your bread knife. Yes, that's right. I have the correct knife. And then we have oregano seasoning. And then we have minced garlic. You can also use minced powder, chopped garlic, fresh garlic, any kind of garlic you want. But I'm just going to go with the minced today.
Okay, so I've never made garlic bread, but I mean, I feel like it's a pretty simple recipe. Is this not just normal garlic bread? I mean, I can't really see the lazy aspect of this.
And of course, butter. Real simple. This can be done literally in minutes. All right, so I'm going to cut this bread, and I'm going to try not to... I don't have the best knife skills, by the way, as you guys have already commented. So I'm going to cut down the middle first. And I think we're going to do it long ways. You can cut your... Yeah, you can cut them this way if you want, straight across, and have small pieces. Or you can cut long way.
There's no way anybody does this, right? Just forcing your guest and your family to eat a fourth of a loaf of garlic bread if you want a piece? I mean, I guess it is a lazy man's garlic bread, and cutting it short ways would take like an extra 20 seconds, so I guess he's sticking to the theme.
And then, here we go. You can have big giant pieces. Depends on if it's just you and your girlfriend or wife or a big family. If it's a big family, cut the small pieces. Okay, so you're going to do heavy dose of butter. You're thinking, wow, that's a lot of butter. Yeah, it is, but you have a thick piece of garlic bread.
Yes, Jack, you have that assessment correct. That is a big piece of bread, but that is about 4 pieces of bread worth of butter. I mean, the only thing lazy about this so far is the effect it's gonna have on you. That amount of butter in one sitting is gonna shut down your body.
You gently sprinkle on top your bits of garlic. This is so easy. And now this one, you got to be a little more careful. So I just tap my finger on it until it starts to come out. Just give it a tap. You don't want too much of this. This is just more, honestly, it gives it a little bit of flavor.
You don't want too much of this, he says, as he puts more oregano than there is garlic on the bread.
Here you go. Okay, now we're going to put these on the cookie sheet. We're going to slam them in the oven. And when we bring them back, they're going to be absolutely beautiful and golden brown. And we'll try it out. All right, now this is kind of how I like it. Just the very edge gets really dark. The inside gets some browning going on there. This is really hot. You got to be careful. Now what I did, I put it in there, and I must have looked at it like 10 times, okay? You got to constantly, there's a fine line between this and completely burnt.
Now, Jack, you do know that that line between burnt and good is a lot easier to avoid if, you know, you just time how long you cook things instead of just watching everything you make in the oven. I mean, is there anything consistent in this kitchen? I don't even think he's told us an oven temperature this entire video. Now, the rest of the video is really just him getting a little bit too sensual with this garlic bread. So I figured I'd spare your eyeballs. Well, Jack, you've done it again. You've somehow lowered my expectations more than they already were. Never change, Jack.
The whole entire 2 pounds. Dump the whole entire thing out.
Mozzarella that we shredded. I'm doing a double batch. Sorry. Double ricotta. There we go. Come on. The first thing you do is I saved a little bit of cheese.
The Cooking with Jack Show, a YouTube channel that claims approximately 6 lives per year, whether that be from people getting salmonella poisoning from following these recipes, or just their heart stopping out of pure shock from watching these videos. The Cooking with Jack Show is quite the experience, and the last time we looked at this channel I thought that we had found the worst of the worst, but boy oh boy, I was wrong. And while the chicken we watched Jack cook last time could have easily wiped out a country, today's dishes are even worse. Allow me to introduce you to the Lazy Man series, a series where Jack disgraces every traditional recipe that this world has ever seen. He takes perfectly fine and usually very easy recipes to make to begin with, and tries to dumb them down as much as possible, to where most of the quote cooking is just dumping a store-bought bag of already processed food into a pot, and hoping for the best. It's bad, and we're gonna be starting off the day with Lazy Man's lasagna. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
Tonight, we're gonna do something special. My son's classroom is doing, tomorrow they're gonna be doing a international day. So everybody has to cook a dish from their heritage, and bring it to school tomorrow. So I figured, hey, why not? I wanted to do a video on how to make a lazy man's lasagna, and I'm gonna be making that for his class. So the two came together and we're making the video right now.
Wow, that actually manages to make the video worse. Because once you guys see what his son had to take to school to represent Italy, my god.
So let's show you how to do lazy man's lasagna. And we're gonna run through the ingredients, then we're gonna, as we always do, we're gonna show you how to throw it all together, all right? Let's take a look at the ingredients right now. Okay, here's all the ingredients.
Okay, so you know it's never a good start to a lasagna recipe when lasagna is not even in the ingredients. I mean, this is literally not even considered lasagna. You have to have lasagna noodles to make a lasagna. This is just a pasta dish.
Then you're gonna take your mozzarella that we shredded. You're gonna put that in next. Okay.
That has got to be like 4 or 5 cups of mozzarella cheese. I'm surprised everyone in his son's class who ate this survived it.
There we go. Look how beautiful that is. Still hot. Burning hot. You throw that in. Whoop. There we go.
This is quite literally just macaroni and cheese. I never thought I'd be getting clickbaited by a cooking channel.
That'll work. All right. And then once again, let me see if I can tip this so you can see okay. And then I'm gonna mix this all in. Once again, you can always add more cheese if needed.
Jack, I'm begging you, please don't put any more cheese. Even with the 8 pounds of pasta you just added, cheese makes up 50% of this dish.
But let's see where we're at first. It's all experimenting. It's not like baking. Baking has to be precise. Pasta doesn't. Okay, now you see, look how beautiful that is. It's getting all melted together. Now we're gonna put in these. Now, once again, I'm doing a double batch. Sorry.
Jack, what are you doing? You know measuring cups exist, right? Those packages reseal. You don't have to use the entire thing for every ingredient that you use.
It's the fun part of cooking. I'm just gonna scoop that right out there. Put that in there. And since I'm doing a double batch, I'm gonna do double ricotta. There we go, come on. And this is one of my favorite cheeses.
Yeah, Jack, I can see that. And earlier you said that we might need to add more cheese. This dish is majority cheese. This has got to be like at least 75% cheese by concentration.
Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now let me give you just a few more tips before I say goodbye. The first thing you do is I saved a little bit of cheese.
Oh my god, Jack. Jack, please, I'm begging you, no more cheese. We can't take it anymore, Jack. We are dying here. This is just cheese. This should be called Lazy Man's cheese.
Okay, save a little bit of cheese. You can take a little bit of this and just gently sprinkle the tops. I would say just more for decoration than anything. You got tons of cheese in it. But it looks nice, gives a little contrast to it.
Jack, what about something healthy? A little bit of parsley, something green. You have the world's supply of cheese in these 2 pans. You cannot possibly think that is an appropriate decoration. Jack, I can't take this video anymore. Just show me the enchiladas.
Okay, the first thing you want to do is take your bag of chips and you're going to smash it. Just don't be shy, just smash it all up. And then you're going to pour that in your big bucket.
Alright, we're barely 10 seconds in and there's already no reviving this. I don't think anybody on the planet has ever made enchiladas with tortilla chips. That's gotta be some sort of federal offense.
Doesn't matter if you smash it perfect or not. Put all that in. Then the next thing you're going to do is dump your whole jar of salsa. Not the small one, but this medium size. Just dump it all in there. Then you're going to take your enchilada sauce, just pour it in gently. Don't get red sauce everywhere because then you'll have to clean it up. And then the second can, pour it in there gently.
This is just soggy chip soup. Like 85% of the dish is just chips. This is terrible.
Then you're going to take your ground beef that had the sauteed onions and all and just pour the whole thing. Don't worry about draining it unless you really want to drain it, but the juice kind of comes in handy because you want it to be a little liquidy for when it bakes.
Oh, really? Yeah, I have a feeling that's not going to end up being a problem.
Then it's not going to be all dry. Then you take your big bag of cheese, the whole entire 2 pounds, and you just dump it all in. Don't be shy. It doesn't have to be pretty. All it has to do is taste good, and it's going to taste delicious. Trust you me. Okay.
So keep in mind that a 2-pound bag of cheese is nearly 4,000 calories, and we already have one entire bag in the dish. Just remember that.
Okay, now what you're going to do is take your small bag of cheese, and that's going to be your topping. Just dump the whole entire thing out.
Alright, so we got even more cheese now. I guess 2 pounds wasn't quite enough. This entire dish is just chips and cheese. You might as well have called it Lazy Man's Nachos, because this does not even resemble enchiladas.
Okay, look at this, folks. Delicioso. Does that look awesome or what?
I'm gonna go with the what option.
Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to just put a nice, healthy dollop of sour cream on the top.
Yeah, nothing about what is happening here is healthy.
Delicious. In Spanish, we call this crema. And then you're going to put a few olives on top just to make it look pretty. Actually, if you want to put a few extras, that'll be good. And you're ready to eat.
All right, so let's give this a try.
Okay.
That looks good. I appreciate you holding the dish for me. Thank you.
No worries.
Oh, wow. It's a little warm.
So delicioso.
Wow, I don't even think they like it. That was the fakest reaction I've ever seen. And I mean, I can't really blame them. Can you imagine how soggy everything is? 6 pounds of chips reduced to nothing but a film? It's a war crime.
I got hog this.
What do you think?
That's enchiladas. That is real enchiladas.
No. No, Jack, it's not. That might just be the furthest thing from enchiladas. Those right there are red sauce nachos. There is nothing enchilada here except the sauce.
Yeah.
Wow, you didn't want that, did you? Did you want that?
You can have it, Jack.
No, it's okay. I'm teasing.
After a bite, let me have
No, I got one more bite too. Oh my gosh, it's like we're in school again. Except school food was never this good.
So delicious.
Wow, you know the food's good when the best compliment you can give the chef is that it's better than school food. That's like one step above prison food. Wow, this video hurt. The anxiety I felt waiting for him to add more cheese with every passing second. That was rough.
It's beautifully cooked inside and everything. Gorgeous. Look at that. Beautiful. And you can see, it's kind of funny, you can see all the insides all cooked too.
The Cooking with Jack show has become somewhat of a staple on this channel, and while I think most of us have become kind of numb to the monstrosities that Jack creates, today a new precedent has been set. While I was searching through some of Jack's videos that I haven't seen yet, I found what is genuinely Jack's worst recipe to date. Now I know you probably think I'm just exaggerating, but I really mean it. Allow me to introduce you to Lazy Man's Omelet, a weapon of mass destruction disguised in egg form. Now, apart from that raw turkey he made, this is a first for the Cooking with Jack show. This is Jack's first recipe that could actually just straight up kill you. I'm not gonna tell you how, I don't want to ruin the fun. Let me just show you. Please subscribe.
Let's get into cooking. That's what the show's all about. Here we go. You got the pot of water boiling? Good. Put that over here. Just keep that boiling. We're going to be using that in just a minute.
Alright, so I don't know about you guys, but if I was following a recipe on how to make an omelet and the first step was to boil water, I think I would already have sirens going off in my head. There is absolutely no part of a normal omelet that you should need boiling water for. And the intended use of this water, my god, you're not even ready.
We're going to bring you in close and show you exactly how to do this. It's quick, it's easy, and you can cook more than one omelet at a time. I love this. All right, here's what you're going to do. The water's boiling still, hasn't gone to a boil yet. It'll be ready by the time we are. Hand everybody in your family one of these bags, a Ziploc quartz bag, okay? Give them a Sharpie and say, write on here what you want in your omelet. So let's say little Johnny wants veggies. Okay, veggie omelet.
You know, I honestly almost feel bad for exposing you to this. You might have some sort of idea. You might think you know where this video is going. Oh, you poor soul.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these. We're going to drop 3 eggs in them. That's right. Never done this before, so there could be a chance for disaster on this, okay? So bear with me. Here we go. 1 egg. Ta-da! It worked. See the egg in there? 2 egg. Ta-da! Beautiful. There you go.
All right, so let's just address the elephant in the room real quickly. So first off, this is called Lazy Man's Omelet. It's supposed to be easier than your average omelet. Let's just operate under the assumption that he's just using the bag to mix the ingredients. That's not what he's doing, by the way. But he's already made more work for himself than a normal omelet. An omelet is literally one of the easiest things to make already. You just put eggs in a pan and then throw ingredients at it. How much easier can you ask for?
All right, we got all 3 bagged up. We zipped them closed. Now we're gonna drop them in the boiling water. Let's take them over to the stove right now. There's the boiling water. Take all 3 bags, drop them in. You're gonna cook them for about 8 minutes.
I shit you not. This is an actual video. Jack is telling us to put plastic bags with Sharpie written all over them into a pot of boiling water for 10 minutes and then eat what is on the inside. Now, I don't know about you guys, but polyethylene is not exactly what I want to eat every morning, and this is a great way to do just that. This might come as a shocker, but Ziploc bags are not meant to withstand extreme temperatures. They are meant to hold sandwiches.
And they're gonna, the air is gonna expand. When they get really, really big, you're gonna burp the air out of them and then cook them again till they expand, okay?
You know, I think he chose what is the worst possible word he could have possibly used right there. That sentence makes me want to vomit. Do you know what the burp of a Ziploc bag full of boiled eggs is gonna smell like? Death.
And they're getting really puffy with air, so I'm gonna burp them now. Oh yeah. All right, so you burp them. And then you close them up.
Guys, I think I'm gonna be sick. You know, out of all the gross things Jack has done on this channel, this has got to be the worst. I mean, I don't know how a grown man goes through with this and is like, yeah, this is a good idea. When in like any point in history have plastic and heat gone together? These eggs are gonna taste like burnt plastic and cancer.
Now, when they expand again, they're good to go. You pull them right out. They're done. I have a towel laid down because these things are going to be wet when you pull them out. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have a tendency to burn myself and to cut myself on this show. So we're going to let that cool for a minute. Why do you do it this way?
Yes, Jack, exactly. That is the question you should have asked yourself before recording this. Why would anybody do this? A 3-egg omelet literally takes maybe 3 minutes to make. This not only shortens your lifespan with every bite, it's not even quicker. There is genuinely no incentive to do this.
Before we open these and take a look, see if it worked, you do this so that everybody eats at the same time. How many times have you done breakfast? 1 at a time. Another thing is you can do this on camping trips. Throw them all in one big pot. Everybody eats at the same time.
Jack, those are actually the 2 worst reasons I have ever heard to do anything. So everybody can eat at the same time. Really, Jack? You can't wait around 4 minutes to get your omelet? You have to infect your entire family with polyethylene poisoning because you have no patience? Camping? Camping. You need an omelet this bad while camping that you are willing to die? If you actually bring 3 empty Ziploc bags in order to do this while camping, I think you should go to prison.
The beauty is everybody eats at the same time. That's what's great about this. This isn't the perfect omelet. This is the lazy man's omelet. You want the perfect omelet? Here, click right there. That's the perfect omelet. You can go to the video in a minute. But for right now, this is the lazy man's omelet. Let's take a look. I have no idea how to get these out, so I'm just gonna cut it and see how that works. Oh wow, look at that. Ta-da! It's beautifully cooked inside and everything. Gorgeous.
Ah, gorgeous. Okay, Jack, we're really just saying words now, aren't we? This is quite possibly the furthest thing from gorgeous, Jack. I can see new life forming on the bottom.
Ha! Ooh, hot. Look at that. All right, let's take a look at the veggie omelet. Look at that. Beautiful. And you can see, it's kind of funny. You can see all the insides all cooked too.
This has got to be illegal. I mean, just look at that. If you showed me just this frame without me watching this video, and you told me to tell you what that is, I would honestly say that it's one of those like fake throw-ups that you can put on stuff. That is what this looks like, much more than an omelet.
See how that tastes. It's perfect. All right. Okay. So, anyway, there you go.
That right there is the reaction of somebody who wants to rip out their own tongue due to the taste that just reached their senses. I mean, Jack's a pretty good actor, but the trained eye could tell that, he did not enjoy that. Well, Jack, thanks to you, I don't think I'll ever be able to look at an egg the same way, or a Ziploc bag. The phrase burp the bag is still haunting me.
If it doesn't fit, it's gonna be pretty darn close. Okay, when you have about 15 minutes left, I want you to take the lid off. You ready to take a peek? Let's take a peek. There it is. Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful.
Guys, there's a point a man reaches in his life where he feels the need to make at least one Cooking with Jack video a week, otherwise he will lose his sanity. Now you might be thinking, August, what are you talking about? That is never going to happen to anybody but you. And I say, okay. Okay, just you wait. And today I have found something abysmal. And while that's not really an unexpected outcome from a venture onto the Cooking with Jack show channel, this video I found is bad even for Jack. Garbage stew. I mean, at least he's kind of becoming self-aware. You know, he's not naming it Lazy Man Stew or the best stew you'll ever make. He's just naming it what it is. So, I guess we are seeing some growth. Now, if you are eating or drinking or really anything that requires a stable stomach, I would recommend you put it to the side before you venture into this video. Just a fair warning. With that being said, let's begin. Please subscribe.
This is everything. Every time I go to do a video, I go through my fridge, I pull out all the old stuff, I either throw it out or figure out a way to use it. These are all left over from other videos. So let's, well, the bacon isn't. But let me run down and just show you what we got. I pulled it all out. So we got these sweet potatoes. This is the, I don't know if you saw the smoked turkey video. Smoked turkey. Not gonna use it all unless I get a bigger pot.
Jack, I really hope that's not the turkey we watched you cook, like not at all, and just ingest it fully raw. We don't want to lose you, Jack. But just take a good look at the ingredients that are about to be combined. I mean, I see a lime, celery, salsa, pickles, a beer. Some things you might just need to throw away, Jack. And you know what really bothers me, like, quite a bit? Is that some of this stuff is canned, and canned stuff will literally last like 8 centuries. So I know he's not throwing some of this stuff away because it's bad. He just genuinely thought that it would be a good addition to this monstrosity.
This is not my idea of the perfect stew, but I gotta use it all. So I don't wanna waste any food. So I called it garbage stew. All right, we've deemed the onion is no good. There's stuff oozing out of it.
Yeah, Jack, I think this is a literal garbage stew at this point. That leg, I don't even know what animal that came off of. I'm guessing maybe a turkey. It resembles a leather couch. That wing on the left looks like it's hard as a rock. I mean, you've got hot dogs, which is just always a bad idea. Never include hot dogs in anything. And then an onion that's ready to start oozing. Jack, you are going to die from this.
All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take this lime, we're gonna squeeze that in. So just take your hand and roll it on the cutting board. It gets it all juiced up. You can even feel how the juice inside if you just squeeze it while it's sealed.
It's like Jack has no concept of like flavor combinations. I mean, I can imagine how a bunch of smoked meat with lime on it would taste, and it's not exactly a good thought. I mean, I know that this is something people do. They just take everything that's about to go bad in their fridge and try to make something out of it, but they usually don't use everything. They take the things they can use and try to make something good out of it. You're just wasting the food in a different way if you cook everything together in a way that it's unedible. All of these ingredients are going to waste either way because I promise you nobody is going to eat this end product.
Okay, everybody, I had to make an executive decision. My crock pot was not big enough for all my leftover garbage in my fridge, so I now have to go with my mom's old sauce pot, which I've used for many, many years. I love you, Mom. Thanks for leaving this to me. All right, first thing we're gonna do is put in the meat. It's all cut up. bacon, hot dog, turkey, and sirloin. Next, the fresh vegetables.
I mean, honestly, just what he's put in the pot so far is already gonna taste horrible. We've got sweet potatoes and celery with hot dogs, bacon, steak, and turkey. That is hell in a pot. And this is not even like a third of what he's about to put in this.
The French-style green beans, the sweet cream of corn, green chilies, which are not hot, by the way. They're like Ortega chilies. Roasted red peppers. I should cut those up. Should I? Nah. Jalapenos. A little Cajun seasoning. A beer. Salsa. Can't forget squeezing the lime.
Yeah, Jack, I really think you probably could forget to squeeze in the lime. I mean, you could put in some cyanide into this bad boy, and I don't think it would change what's gonna happen when you eat it. This is a chemical weapon in stew form. I mean, once he added the green beans, I was already ready to throw up. I had some coffee this morning, and I kind of think that the cream should have probably gone into this garbage stew. I don't know if it was still good, and I can feel it trying to come back up.
If it doesn't fit, it's gonna be pretty darn close.
Yeah, that is the nastiest 5-second clip I have ever seen in my life. I don't know what it is, but something about cold food making that like slopping sound as it hits a pan or something, it really grosses me out, and the contents of this stew are not helping that.
I got it in my crock pot. This is a 5-quart. You're gonna do 4 hours on high or 8 on low. I'm gonna do 4 hours on high so we can have this tonight for dinner. So I got it going, and I will show you what it looks like once it's all melded together. I'm gonna stir it every so often. Okay, when you have about 15 minutes left, I want you to take the lid off. You ready to take a peek? Let's take a peek. There it is. Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful.
Jack, we gotta talk about this. This is not beautiful. Do you know what these words mean? You called your omelet bags gorgeous. I mean, I don't think you're aware of the history of these words. You have to actually use them in the appropriate setting. You can't just use them for fun, Jack. You're lying to your audience.
Okay, now, I'm so serious when I say go through your cupboards, pull out what you haven't used in a while, go through your fridge, pull out leftovers. This is, like I say, if I didn't cook this today, all of that would have been in the garbage. That's why it's called garbage stew. Okay, so let's get a little bit of everything. Oops. There we go. Oh yeah. Cajun flavor and jalapenos. Oh.
Look, I know I say this about pretty much every Cooking with Jack video I've watched, and sometimes I'm joking, sometimes I kind of mean it, but there is actually zero possibility that this tastes anywhere near good. It's just impossible. You could not pay me to believe this. I would have to make this exact same recipe and eat the entire thing before I could decide if this was good or not. You cannot just combine all of this stuff and expect it to be good. Jack is lying that this is good, and I would go under oath on that statement. Well guys, you've made it through. You may now return to eating or drinking. I promise I won't expose you to the stew again. I mean, I honestly think that this might be the worst thing we've ever seen Jack cook. The omelet bags were pretty bad, but at least they might kind of taste like an omelet. I think this would just taste like vomit.
Hey guys, okay, so we're doing a mayonnaise cake. That's right, we're making a cake with some mayo.
That's so nasty. That's just disgusting.
The Cooking with Jack show, a man on a mission to not only constantly push the envelope on what it means to be a chef, but also to question what is acceptable when it comes to creating a recipe. And boys and girls, today, I fear that Jack has pushed the envelope an inch too far. Mayonnaise cake. There, I said it. It's out in the open now. You need to know. You deserve to know what you're getting into. Today is no average Cooking with Jack show video. Do you know the power those two words have when put together? You say the words mayonnaise cake to the wrong person, I promise you we're going into World War III. The world is simply not ready. But as we know all too well on this channel, Jack doesn't wait around on the world, and today we're about to find that out the hard way. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
Hey guys, okay, so we're doing a mayonnaise cake. That's right, we're making a cake with some mayo, but before we do, I'm playing a joke on Jack Jr. I'm gonna give him a call, have him come downstairs. He's upstairs playing video games. He hates, like when I have a little bit on the spoon, I'll lick the spoon of mayonnaise and it grosses him out.
Jack, you should be proud. You've raised a normal human. There are certain condiments that even though you might eat them normally, you just don't lick them off of a spoon. Take, for example, butter or horseradish or mayonnaise. Fine when incorporated into dishes, not for spoon licking.
Like completely. So I'm gonna try and get him down here, get a whole spoonful of mayo. You'll see, it's gonna be great. Don't watch me eat the mayo, but watch his face.
That's so nasty. That's just disgusting. That's gross.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you he'd get all grossed out? Look, there he goes.
I am sitting here at 5:24 in the morning, watching a man disappoint his son to just the furthest extent imaginable by absolutely ravaging a spoonful of mayonnaise, and I get to call this my job? I'm the luckiest man alive.
He thinks it's the grossest thing ever, eating a spoonful of mayonnaise. Ugh, that was a little strong, but it's time to mix up our dry ingredients. The flour, the cocoa powder, and baking soda. Get your sugar, put your eggs in here, and then your vanilla, and then you're gonna mix it on high. And we're gonna add in the mayonnaise, however you say it. Some people say mayonnaise, but it's really mayonnaise.
Alright, so I just looked in my fridge and all I have is light mayonnaise. Just knowing Jack, I'm gonna have to guess that this is in fact not light mayonnaise. But if my calculations don't deceive me, 1 cup of light mayonnaise is 1,500 calories. This appears to be nearly 2 cups of just regular mayo, and I guess that's just what you need to add to what is already like the most unhealthy food for you that you can eat. 2,500 calories of good old-fashioned oil and egg.
Put that in. I'm gonna beat that on slow. So do it nice and slow till it's incorporated. All right, cool. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this in right now. And I'm gonna mix it in, nice and low.
Alright, so I've been reading some of the comments on this video, and a surprising amount of them are saying that mayo actually makes a cake a lot better, which I mean, I guess kind of makes sense. Apart from the vinegar, it's just oil and eggs, stuff that goes into a cake anyways. But you know what else makes most things taste better? Butter and salt. Does that mean we should stick 8 sticks of butter and a cup of salt into everything we eat? No. And that sort of thinking should probably apply to anybody who's considering making a mayonnaise cake. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. With that being said, prepare to hear me sound much more energetic the next time you hear me. I'm going to bed.
All right, now it's time to do the frosting. We have powdered sugar, milk, cocoa powder. We also have espresso concentrated powder right there. That's the key right there. Just get espresso powder at the store, take a little bit of that and put it into this frosting. Little vanilla, butter at room temperature.
Alright, so I didn't trust this ungodly amount of butter to be accurate, so I looked at a few different recipes for frosting, 4 to be specific, and the most butter I could find any of them call for was 1.5 sticks. Jack, why do you choose to double ingredients, and why are they always the worst possible ones you could have doubled?
I like to smash the butter first for a little bit, but you're basically gonna wanna kind of spin it on low.
Is there any way to use these beaters without absolutely just destroying your entire kitchen? I mean, you'd think in 2021 we'd have the technology to have a setting on the beaters to where it is low enough that it doesn't make powder just fly everywhere. I mean, we have cars that can drive themselves, but we can't make beaters that have more than 2 settings. Come on, scientist, focus on what matters.
All right, so now that it's done, we have one more thing to mix in. We're gonna take the vanilla now and drizzle that throughout here. And you're gonna take the espresso powder, sprinkle that all around, and you're gonna slowly incorporate it back into the frosting.
Okay, so I want to preface this by saying I know absolutely nothing about baking. I'm a pretty good cook, but when it comes to like pastries and baking stuff, I literally know nothing. Like if you told me to make a cake from memory right now, even if you provided me with all of the ingredients, I really don't know if I could do it. But it just seems wrong to put vanilla into chocolate frosting. I mean, you wouldn't put chocolate into vanilla frosting, so I mean, that just seems wrong to me. Any master chefs out there, let me know if I'm right.
I don't frost. This is one of the things that scares Jack. That's me. Dooby-dooby-doo. There you go. It's an Oreo cookie. Just kidding. All right, there it is. Your mayonnaise cake. Looks better than you thought it would, doesn't it?
You know, to be honest, Jack, yes, this is quite a bit better than I was expecting. I was really coming into this video just expecting an entire cake made of nothing but mayonnaise. That might be a stupid expectation for any sort of situation, but this one, expecting something like that from Jack is honestly pretty normal. I'm honestly disappointed that it is just a chocolate cake with nasty ingredients. Jack, you can do better than this. If you ever see this, you need to revisit this. Give the people what they want. Make a cake of mayonnaise.
All right, so let's cut a piece. Here we go. Look at that. There's your slice. Came out good. All right, let's try it. I'm telling you, this cake, I know it's moist. That is some of the best buttercream frosting I've ever had. Oh my. Sorry, I'm going for another piece.
You know, I'm honestly not even gonna doubt that this is probably a really good cake. I'm not even really making fun of the mayonnaise because it's mayonnaise. I'm making fun of the reason that it's mayonnaise in a cake. You know what? Hold on. Alright, so this is a pretty rough estimation, but I went back and kind of counted the ingredients he used. Now, chocolate cake is not known for its health factor, but from my estimation, this cake probably has about 8,000 calories, compared to the normal 4 to 5. Jack, I know this is probably hard to hear, but sometimes less butter is better. Well guys, you know, I'm honestly kind of conflicted here. Jack seems to have finally made a somewhat decent dish, but at the same time, I think consuming it would send the average family into a coma, so I guess there are pros and cons.
I'm gonna start by cooking my chicken. Just place that right smack dab in the center.
Guys, do you know what time it is? I think you do. It's time for our weekly Cooking with Jack video, the most highly anticipated event since Christmas. Now today, we're in for quite a treat. We're going back to our Jack roots, and we're going to be watching him make a recipe that I'm quite certain would get you arrested in certain countries. Which is kinda sad, you know, because our last few videos we've watched of him, it seemed like Jack was kind of on an upward slope, getting a little bit better here and there, stepping back from the recipes that would kill you, but today that's all gonna come crashing down with chicken polenta. Now it always makes me nervous when Jack is around white meat. It's like a serial killer and their desire to return to the crime scene. He just can't help but make it raw. And I mean, it's not even a spoiler at this point, it's just expected, but I think this is the worst chicken we have ever seen Jack cook. Words cannot describe this monstrosity, so I'm just gonna show you. Please subscribe.
Not a lot of ingredients, so I'm gonna start by cooking my chicken. I'm going to put some Italian herbs. I'm gonna do a little rosemary, a little thyme, a little oregano, maybe some basil. And then I'm going to bake that, maybe some salt and pepper.
Alright, right from the get-go, we're already off to a horrible start. Now you might be thinking, August, he hasn't really said anything wrong yet. Well, he told us he's gonna cook the chicken, and my friends, that is a lie. Jack, I expected better from you.
Alright, let's get this chicken in the oven, because that's gotta be fully cooked before I make the polenta. We're gonna do some rosemary, salt, black pepper, a little oregano, a little basil. And you're asking why am I putting all the greens on? Is because It's Italian polenta, Italian seasonings.
Was anybody really asking that, Jack? Are you that against eating a vegetable that dried greens like basil in a seasoning container worry you? I don't think your audience is questioning this. I also like how there's just absolutely no attention paid to the other side, no oil or anything, just put some dry seasoning on, don't touch the chicken, hope for the best.
That's kind of the gist. And a little thyme. I always have time for time.
Psst. Hey, you. Yeah, you, I'm talking to you. Please go subscribe to my second channel. Okay, just go do it. Don't ask any questions. All right, thank you.
All right, let's get this in the oven, and then we'll get started on the polenta.
Alright, so this should probably be considered one of the 7 wonders of the world. I mean, like Stonehenge, I'm pretty sure we've figured that out at this point, so I think it's time for a new contender. From my cooking knowledge, $3.50 for an hour should be enough to cook chicken in most cases, if not at least get it close. And what we're gonna see shortly is, that did not happen. There needs to be scientists investigating this anomaly. Now, this segment of the video is all of the polenta. Gonna be honest with you guys, I've never made polenta, nor do I think I've ever actually had it. So I don't really know what to look for in a fine polenta, but the comments seem to think that he made it wrong, which I'm inclined to believe. If there's any, seasoned Italian chefs out there, you can watch this very quick version of him making the polenta, and you can let me know what you think.
Always use your mitt. You're gonna have a tendency to want to grab the handle with your hand. Do not take your hand out of the mitt this whole process, okay? Okay, here we go.
At first glance, I thought that this was just a giant bowl of sea salt. I was really convinced that Jack had just fully lost his mind. Thankfully, it's just cheese, but, I think it's kind of a scary thing that I wouldn't be surprised if it was salt.
Just do the best I can to serve a big glop of this right in the middle. Get your herb chicken.
All right, guys. I mean, what do I even say about this? That chicken looks like it got more raw in the oven. Like there was some sort of necromancer in the oven trying to reanimate this chicken. That is a color I don't think I've ever seen chicken. I mean, did Jack evolve from some different kind of human species? Because my primal instincts are telling me to stay as far away from that chicken as possible. How does Jack not notice this?
Just place that right smack dab in the center. And there you go. This is Italian herb chicken over polenta.
No, Jack. This is a final meal. This is the last thing somebody is gonna see. I don't know what happened to this chicken in that oven. I don't think the world will ever know. But something not known to man is residing in that oven, probably from years of Jack's cooking. Just an amalgamation of evil is residing in that oven. I mean, seriously, what happened here?
Buttery, cheesy, garlicky, oniony polenta. Okay, so my honey's home today, so she's gonna try this for lunch. But for right now, let me just try the polenta by itself first.
Wait, what? Jack, you're gonna feed this to your wife? Jack, I'm not a lawyer, so don't take this as legal advice, but I'm pretty sure that's attempted murder.
Because that's mainly what we taught. It's like wow. It's totally solidifying. Look. It's like a really thick pudding.
Okay, once again, never made polenta, so I could be wrong, but I feel like something made in this manner should not be like pudding. Maybe like some dense mashed potatoes or some grits. Don't think it should be like a pudding cup.
That looks good. It tastes amazing. All right, so let's try it now with a piece of chicken. All right, here we go. Chicken with polenta on top. And it's burning hot. Burning hot. Oh my goodness. I gotta go.
Yeah, Jack, I would agree. You probably would have to go after this. Like I said, this is a final meal. If you're not having to go from your body shutting down from eating this dish, then you're probably gonna have to go from the liquid feces trying to escape your body. I mean, the fact that you are still alive, Jack, is honestly nothing short of a miracle. You gotta consider that we only see him when he cooks on YouTube. Anybody who's cooking like this for the camera is gonna cook like this in their private life. I would guess that at least every other time that Jack eats chicken, it's raw. Maybe he's just built up some sort of tolerance for it. Man's a superhuman.
You can't see me wolf this down. That was easy. Kitchen's not even a mess. I'm ready to chow down with my wife. It's gonna be awesome. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Take care. More international dishes coming.
Jack, buddy, I really don't think this counts as an international dish. Usually that requires making it in the way that the country makes it. I mean, you can't just put Italian seasoning on chicken and call it Italian. Well, guys, I think we've peaked. I really don't think that there will ever be a worse Cooking with the Jack video than we just watched. We've made it.
Show you how tender it is, okay? Some of the toughest meat ever, and it just, look at that. Just pulls apart beautifully. Oh yeah, look. Just comes right apart, right off.
Well, guys, life is sometimes disappointing. You often convince yourself that something's gonna go your way and it's gonna work out for you, and then you're forced to watch as it all crumbles right before your very eyes. And that, my friends, is exactly what has happened to me today. Now, the Cooking with Jack show is the greatest cooking show to ever be made. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the show, you might be asking, okay, why is it great? Is it because of the skillful cooking, the easy-to-follow recipes, the knowledge of the host? Well, the answer to every one of those questions is a strong no. It's good because it's bad. But today I thought that might just be about to change. You see, I was watching one of Jack's videos, Lazy Man's Pot Roast, and he actually had a somewhat decent foundation. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still Jack we're talking about, so it's not like it was great, but it was something. But once he started to get into the recipe, it went, I mean, downhill does not even describe it. He was going for pot roast and ended up with what is essentially challenging to eat soup. That's about the best description I can give verbally, so let me just show you. Please subscribe.
I'm just gonna show you exactly the little bit of things you're gonna need. Now I have a huge thing of olive oil. You're not gonna need all this, but you're gonna need a little bit of olive oil. I buy it in a large quantity because I'm using olive oil all the time.
You know, what's funny is that I almost believed that this was true, that Jack would need this giant jug of olive oil just because he cooked more than other people. But yeah, shortly we're about to find out that that is not the reason.
You can use different cuts of meat. I'm using beef round. And you can use a low cut. Once again, this is really cool because you can get a cheap piece of meat and make it really tender because this is going to cook in the oven for a long time.
Okay, so if you don't know your meats, beef round is pretty much the worst beef you can buy. The only application for a beef round is pot roast. Like, if you were to try to make a steak or a hamburger out of a beef round, you would go to prison. That is what is fair. But even for pot roast, most people don't even use it because it's that bad. Unless you're willing to cook it for like 8 hours, you're not even going to be able to chew it. And, well, I'll let you decide if you think Jack is going to cook this for the right amount of time or not.
Okay, now here's a tip. If you're going to season your meat before you cook it, room temperature. Once again, watch my lips. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, can you see my lips? Room temperature. You can do a little coarse salt. I know, I'm making a mess. I don't care. Most of this is going to fall off anyway, so don't worry about it. Then you're going to do a little bit of black pepper.
Alright, so in classic Jack fashion, these are the only seasonings that go in the entire dish. Half a pound of salt and some black pepper. Yummy.
Okay, we're going to brown this meat, so first thing you want to do is get that oil in there. Once the oil's heated.
Yeah, so I knew there was something fishy about somebody needing a 7-gallon jug of olive oil. Yeah, sure, they're big cuts of meat, but come on, Jack. You just dumped out half of the jug.
Okay, so you're going to take the meat and set it over here for right now. We're not done with that yet. Put it right on over here. You're going to take the mushrooms and the onions. I cut all my mushrooms in half. Okay? And I did big semicircles of onions. All right, you can just dump those right in here. Ready?
Okay, so I didn't even really realize this until I started reading some of the comments on this video, but apparently this isn't even a pot roast. And I mean, it makes sense now that I've read it, but this didn't even cross my mind while watching. But a pot roast is defined by the vegetables you have in it. So like mainly the carrots and the potatoes, which makes sense now that I think of it because you could just slow roast any meat and it doesn't make it a pot roast. So this isn't even Lazy Man's pot roast. This is like a stew at best.
You're gonna grab the beef stock. You can use your own, or you can pre-buy it. We're gonna cover this up. We just gotta cook that in the oven. 2.5 hours at 350 degrees, okay?
Yeah, no, you heard that right. 2.5 hours at 350. The entire point of a pot roast is to roast it, and that kind of cooking time might be okay for like a 2-pound pot roast, but those cuts of beef looked about 2 pounds each. Yeah, it's safe to say the end product of this recipe is not going to be very good.
Oh, look at how beautiful that is. Is that gorgeous? Look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay, now remember, when you take this meat out, okay, you're going to want to let it set. Never cut your meat right away. Look how beautiful that is. Isn't that gorgeous? The onions and the mushrooms. All right, we're going to put this right in there.
Okay, so here's where Jack makes a mistake that isn't even funny, really. I don't know if you guys caught that, but the plate that he put the cooked meat back onto was the plate that he had the raw meat sitting on. You can literally see that there is still blood on the plate from the raw meat. That is just a genuine safety hazard.
What you can do is dress it up, get a little juice, a little bit of these mushrooms. Right, like that. It's beautiful. The onions, just let it fall where it may.
And here's where we really start going downhill. So now we have the blood-infected meat being covered in what is essentially mushroom and olive oil water. Like he didn't put together any roux or try to thicken this up at all. I mean, this just looks like sewage water.
Absolutely gorgeous. It's going to fall apart, and I'm going to show you in just 1 second, but we got to let this set. Look at this. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm just going to show you how tender it is, okay? Some of the toughest meat ever, and it just, look at that, just pulls apart beautifully. Oh yeah, look, just comes right apart, right off. You could just rip it off with a fork. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. It's just falling apart.
Okay, so if you've never even like been within a mile radius of a pot roast before, then you might be fooled by this. But I'm sorry to break it to you, Jack, but this is not in fact falling right apart. It honestly looks like you are having to use all of your strength to try to get this meat to come off. If you've ever had a real pot roast, you know the effort required to cut through it is about the same as it is with butter. It looks like the meat is still alive and fighting back.
Now before I try this out, I gotta tell you, how good was that? That was easy. You browned it in the salt and pepper, you pulled the meat out, you threw your onions and mushrooms and you cooked it in the juice. You threw everything in there with some beef stock and stuck it in the oven. The oven did all the work. And now this inexpensive piece of meat is just absolutely falling apart right at the touch of a fork. Oh man. You've got to make this right away. You can make this every week. Switch it to pork. Switch it to chicken. Use chicken broth instead of beef broth. Have fun with this. Lazy Man's Pot Roast. I'll see you on the next Cooking with Jack. Take care.
Okay, so I let that play out a little bit longer than I normally would have, just to show you that he was still chewing when he was closing out the video. So you're telling me that it's falling apart, but you can't swallow it after chewing it for 20 seconds? Okay, Jack, whatever you say. You know, I went into this with genuine hope. I didn't think it was physically possible to mess up something like a pot roast. I guess that just goes to show that you can never underestimate Jack.
Hit a little olive oil on the bottom. So I'm going to lay the 12 ounces of pasta right there. So let's grab a bunch
The Cooking with Jack Show, a YouTube cooking program that constantly begs the question, what is actually considered cooking? And generally, the answer to that question is nothing that Jack makes. And sadly, today we're about to see that nothing has changed, as we join back with Jack for our favorite cooking series, Lazy Man's Cooking, as Jack makes what is by far the most disgusting, quote, pasta dinner ever imagined. I think you'd probably go to prison for calling this pasta in Italy. I honestly think you should probably go to prison for calling this pasta in America, but I guess we're just gonna have to see it through. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
Onions, garlic, cherry tomatoes, shaved Parmesan cheese, olive oil, and basil leaf, and basil leaf, and basil leaf, and lots of basil leaf, because I love it.
Alright, so let's zoom in on these ingredients real quick before they disappear into the void. I just want to note that there is absolutely no form of pasta sauce in this recipe, nor are there ingredients where you make one. We're already off to what cannot really be considered a great start.
Okay, let's build this pan. Here we go. Hit a little olive oil on the bottom. So I'm going to lay the 12 ounces of pasta right there.
Okay, so, yeah. I really don't know what Jack is doing. I've watched the man cook pasta before. I know that he at least kind of knows how to make it. I mean, Jack, what is this? You're gonna cook pasta in a saucepan with some olive oil? Are you gonna fry the pasta, Jack? I mean, come on, what's the thought process?
My onions in there. Place my tomatoes over here. My garlic right here. My basil leaves. Place them right on top. A little here, a little there. Little spots. There you go. All right. So that's what we got right there. Next thing you're going to do is pour in your water. It says 4.5 cups, so bring it in nice and slow. We're going to bring the water to a boil.
Okay, so I might just be making a fool of myself, but knowing Jack, I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm right. I've never seen anybody do this. I mean, this is not a common technique, right? To boil everything you're going to put in a pasta, including the pasta itself, in one pan at one go. I mean, please tell me this is not a thing.
Now I'm going to add a little step here. Basically, I'm going to, while I'm waiting for it to boil, add a little salt and pepper to the mix, because as I go on, I'm going to stir this up. So I kind of want my salt and pepper to, so I'll put a little bit of salt for now. And I'm a big pepper fan, so I put my pepper in. I want that to kind of cook in with everything else, so we'll add a little more later for flavor, but right now, just hit it while you're waiting.
So you're telling me that he's not only boiling all of the ingredients in this dish, which is not appropriate for anything but the pasta. I mean, a boiled tomato? Yummy. But he's also only putting salt and pepper into this abomination. It's not just the technique that's bad. Thinking about eating this makes me feel sick.
And then as we're going to start mixing this once it starts cooking. Okay, so I've never done this recipe before. But my biggest fear is this stuff sticking. So as you're waiting for it to boil, I'm just going to jiggle my pasta around so we can get separation going as it heats up. And they're saying about, once it boils, you wait about 9 minutes, 9 or 10 minutes. Depends on, you could taste the, sample the pasta and you'll know. The pasta should be al dente, which means firmness but not hard.
Okay, so I know that I said that I've seen Jack make pasta before, but it sounds like he's following a recipe that's already been made. Is he actually reading the recipe like you're supposed to cook it all together at once? Because I refuse to believe that's actually how it's written.
Well, I can tell you guys this. It smells amazing. It's not going to be your typical red sauce pasta. This is more of a rustic dinner.
Jack, you can't just say it's rustic to make up for your caveman cooking. I mean, seriously, this is probably what the first humans were eating. No sort of sauce, no seasonings, just boil everything and hope for the best.
I don't know, guys. What do you think? It's at full speed right now. About 3 minutes left. I say we serve this up and give it a try. So let's grab a
Look at how much liquid is dripping out of this pasta. I mean, he said it's been, what, 9 minutes? This is just gonna taste like pasta water. None of the vegetables have had enough time to do anything to the flavor. Like, they seriously don't even look cooked. I think they're still raw. I mean, come on, Jack. At least most of your recipes sometimes seem somewhat coherent. This is embarrassing even for you.
Grab a bunch of... Hit it with, once again, a little salt, a little pepper. And then I've got these beautiful Parmesan shavings that I'm going to want to dip into here. Just take a pinch.
I mean, I usually try not to be, like, mean to Jack, but he has been doing this for, like, over a decade. How does he not know what good cooking is at this point? I am not the first YouTuber to make videos about Jack, far from it. He's gotta know the general consensus is that he needs to change how he cooks. I just don't see how you can dedicate your livelihood to teaching people how to cook, and you never realize that you can't cook yourself.
A little bit of everything. Little onion. This is mine. Just letting you know. Can't pass it through the camera to you. It's perfectly al dente. It's going to hold together real well. A little bit of oil. The tomato. Salt and pepper is perfect.
You know when the best compliment you have for your own cooking is that the salt and pepper is perfect? That you have probably made a grave mistake. Those should be like the least noticeable things in a well-cooked dish. That's like building a mega mansion where the most noticeable features are concrete and cinder blocks. Salt and pepper should be the foundation of your food, not the highlight. You know, I honestly didn't think we could get worse than Lazy Man's lasagna. I thought that would remain the king of bad lazy man's cooking, but this has got to be by far the worst one we've ever seen. I honestly don't even think this should be considered a recipe. There is no actual dish being made here.
So this has been cooking for exactly 17 minutes. Take the lid off, take a peek at that.
Network?
Yes, this is the Food Network.
The Cooking with Jack show. Now, if you don't know who Jack is, then I sincerely apologize for you having to live a boring life up until this point. But don't you worry, all of that is about to change. The Cooking with Jack show is a YouTube cooking show that puts out some of the most questionable cooking videos ever seen on this planet. I mean, like, half of the things that Jack makes are not even actual recipes. It honestly seems like for most of the things he cooks, he got to look at a cookbook for 5 seconds and then had to recreate the recipe from memory. And the video we're going to be watching today is a perfect example of this. Lazy Man's Pork Chops. I don't even really have words for how bad this recipe is, so I'm just going to show you. Let's begin. Please subscribe. Now, normally we skip Jack's intros because they tend to be pretty drawn out and just full of nothing, but I figured we might watch a couple minutes of this one because he calls the Food Network and tries to pitch his show.
Yes, this is the Food Network.
Oh, Jack, never change. Not only is he calling the number that I assume he found when he Googled, you know, Food Network's number, but this woman also answered the phone by saying Food Network, yet Jack still feels the need to ask the question, is this the Food Network?
Yes, it is.
I need to speak with somebody. Oh, I'm sorry. What's your name?
Jennifer?
Jennifer. Thank you for taking the call. I need to speak with somebody in development.
I only have a list of names here.
You only have
No departments or titles.
No departments or titles. Okay, well, I'm calling from the Cooking with Jack show, and we wanted to pitch the show to the network.
I'm really curious to know who the we he's referring to is. I mean, there's no way Jack has an actual production team, right?
Okay, give me 1 second.
Thank you so much. She doesn't know.
Food Network appreciates your interest in suggesting ideas, but we accept series and specials proposals only from television production companies with national or major market production credentials.
Cool, it's me.
So I listened back to this a few times, and I think it really says a lot about Jack's character that I can't tell if he's joking or not, because part of me thinks that Jack might really believe that he would be considered a major network. What do you guys think?
If you are a production company, please send us your credentials and a history of your production experience only. After reviewing them, Food Network will determine whether or not to send you a release form with a request for further information. Do not send any pitch ideas or proposals at this time, as they will be returned unread. Please send your company's credentials to Food Network, 75 9th Avenue,
Yeah. Okay.
New York, New York.
I'll get all that down later. Okay, so there's hope.
Well, considering that it has been 13 years since this video was uploaded, I'm gonna say that either Food Network is really behind on returning emails, or they weren't the biggest fan of the Cooking with Jack show.
Check that out. They said if you have a real show that's watched nationally, they don't realize I have people in Germany watching me. That's right, Germany. If I'm in Germany, I'm everywhere. So, I'll let you know how that goes. We'll just keep going, and we'll see what happens, all right?
Jack, based off that logic, I could get a Food Network show. I think they said national production credentials, not some guy in Germany watches your YouTube videos.
Okay, so we take the lid off. We're going to put the flame on high, warm the pan up, going to drop in 2 tablespoons of butter. You can let that melt. When that's completely melt, we're going to throw the vermicelli in next. It's in the rice-roni box. As you can see, the butter is almost melted.
Yeah, so when you're following a recipe to cook rice or pasta or anything in that kind of category, and the first step is to melt butter, run in the opposite direction.
Now, when you open the rice-roni box, you're going to notice that there's a flavor packet inside. Put that off to the side. We're not going to use that right now. Pull that out of the box. Then you're just going to dump all the rice-roni in there. Okay? There you go. Now, this is where you begin sauteing the rice-a-roni in the butter. Okay, so as you can see, the vermicelli and the rice are starting to brown in the butter.
Okay, so this is now the second time I've seen somebody cook rice like this. We also saw Kay from Kay's Cooking do this method. Please tell me these are the only 2 people who do this. If you or anybody you know pan fries their raw rice, please turn yourself or whoever you may know into the nearest police station.
So once you get some good browning going on, you don't want to burn it. So we're going to get the water involved in here, okay? We're going to put the water in, 2.5 cups of water, if you remember. Beautiful. That's exactly what it should do. Just sizzle. All right?
Yeah, so once again, no, that is not exactly what any sort of cooking of rice should look like. I mean, there is a pretty universally accepted way on how to cook rice, and I don't think it will ever be replaced by, this.
Once again, this is for us lazy people. Just throw it all in. I love that. And then slowly mix it all in. Take your time. You want to get all those flavors going. You're going to get it all dissolved in the water. As soon as you got the flavoring mixed in, you're going to set these in here. These pork chops are beautiful.
Oh wow, okay. So I think we've officially hit a new low. Now, Jack has never been known for being a flavor master when it comes to seasoning his meats, but this is a crime. Jack is seasoning his pork chops with nothing but rice-a-roni flavor water. Yeah, I think we've seen it all.
So this has been cooking for exactly 17 minutes. Take the lid off. Take a peek at that. See how it looks like all the water's gone in the rice, but it still looks wet? Everything's delicious. The pork chops are cooked.
So I'm not 100% sure as to why Jack turned into a cartoon vampire when he said the pork chops are cooked, but I am a bit curious as to whether or not that statement is true. I mean, it does look like something has been done to them. I don't know if cooked is the right word. Maybe half-boiled, defiled, a tragedy for the pig who had to die for this. I don't know, just a lot of words other than cooked come to mind. I still think this should be a felony.
And it smells great. Let's put this on a plate and see how it tastes. Look how delicious that looks.
Jack, I'm really not trying to be mean, but it doesn't look anywhere near the word delicious. There's no color, I know that there's no seasoning. I mean, it's literally just gonna taste like buttered rice water.
Very nice. Let's take a taste of that. It's really good. You can taste all the seasoning from the seasoning packet. Totally cooked into the meat. The meat is perfect. All right, now let's try the rice. Let's try some of that. Ooh, a little hot. But they're delicious too. They're so moist.
I genuinely think Jack might be a pathological liar. I mean, I kind of understand not wanting to say to the internet, okay, my cooking sucks, this recipe did not work. But I've watched quite a few of his videos and he has never ever said that. I mean, he admits to not following recipes and just making stuff up. Even if the man does not have properly functioning taste buds, something in his 15-year-long cooking career has had to not taste good to him. These taste tests mean nothing because he always says the same things. Honestly, I gotta say, this video has left me a bit disappointed with Jack. I mean, don't get me wrong, I never go on his channel expecting good cooking, but usually at least it's bad with a flair. This was just a boring and poorly done recipe. You're better than this, Jack.
3.5 ounce ribeye steak. Hurry in while supplies last. $1.
All right, here we go.
Guys, it's time for our weekly therapy. One of the only things keeping me going through this semester. The Cooking with Jack show. The show that answers the question, what exactly can the human stomach endure? And today, we're gonna see that the answer to that question is more than we thought. I was scrolling through Jack's channel and I found this video titled $1 Ribeye Steak, which has got to be the scariest 4 words you can put together. And since Jack has proved that he does not care what goes inside of his stomach, of course, he eats it. Now, I'm gonna be honest, this is one of the nastier videos we have seen from Jack, so if you're eating or drinking something, I recommend you put it to the side for a minute. It's nothing like terrible, but if you have a weak stomach, you might get a little bit queasy. This steak looks like it's been possessed. With that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
All right, before we cook this steak, here's the footage from yesterday. If you weren't watching Facebook Live, here's what happened.
Okay, guys, so my wife's gonna kill me, and I'll tell you why. I gotta film this. Hold on. Hey, Tammy.
I absolutely love the fact that Jack has what presumably is his day-to-day car wrapped in an advertisement for his barbecue sauces. I mean, I don't even think they're sold anymore, and I bet you that that car is still wrapped.
She's gonna kill me. Hang on. Tammy, you want to wait in the car while I film this real quick? All right. Here, turn the engine. We have food in the car, and it's really hot. And she's like, don't get out of the car. I have to show you guys this. Are you okay? They're open till 7.
Wait, I'm confused by this. Does someone have to be inside of the car for it to remain on? Why did Jack need to wait in the car with the groceries? Was his presence keeping them cold? Is he like a giant ice pack? I don't understand.
You mad? Oh, she's mad at me. There it is right there. 3.5 ounce ribeye steak. Hurry in while supplies last. $1. Okay, so you're like, yeah, it's 3.5 ounces.
No, Jack, I was not thinking anything along the lines of the steak only being 3.5 ounces justifying it being sold for $1. I was thinking more in the area of no person on the planet should ever go near a steak of that nature. I think you are probably the only person on the planet who could survive that, Jack.
Okay, so if I go to a restaurant and I get a 16 ounce steak, right, or a 12 ounce, that's still not going to be the $4 that I'm going to spend on this, or $3 or $4. You want to go see what it looks like, guys? $1 ribeye steak. Is it? Do you still have some?
We should.
Do you hear the shock and absolute panic in that woman's voice? She knows that Jack cannot be a human. Nobody walks into a Dollar Tree and asks, where are your steaks? She walked within feet of a god and didn't even know it.
I don't see any.
Okay, so I don't see them in the cooler, but she's checking the freezer, and we're going to show you what a $1 ribeye steak looks like. Do they have any? No? Oh, they have them? Where were they?
Got one.
Can I have it?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Let me check my freezer.
Guys. Ta-da! There it is.
Okay, so I'm kind of at a crossroads here. I'm gonna be honest, if you told me that this was like a $20 steak, I might look at it at a glance and think that it might have just been dry aged and that accounts for the color. But knowing that this is a $1 Dollar Tree steak, there's gotta be something wrong with this, right? I mean, this steak is nearly black. Jack, I know you're going to, but I want to feel good about myself, so I'm gonna ask you, please do not eat this steak.
Serious. Oh my gosh, I got one. We're gonna make a big Thanksgiving meal out of this.
And here it is. This is the Dollar Tree bag I bought it in. And ribeye steak, you're looking at 3.5 ounces. There it is right there, shrink wrapped. And it's pretty thin, but not like steak-'em thin.
I mean, my brain tells me that Dollar Tree would not sell something that would get them in trouble, but my heart tells me that this steak would stink and kill you if you ate it. I mean, just look at that. That does not look right. I don't know what it is exactly. It might just be knowing where it's from, but this steak just looks off.
All right, so let's put a little seasoning on this. Pink Himalayan salt on there. A little black pepper. Heating up the pan right now, put a little butter in there. Okay, time to put the steak in. Oops, there we go. We're gonna season it with a little bit more salt, more black pepper. All right, here we go.
I honestly don't think that you could have gotten a more comical flip in any sort of situation. I mean, going into this, I expected him to flip it and it actually look good, and he flips it and it looks like somebody is cooking the bottom of a shoe. I mean, this seriously looks like it would make you sick if you even smelled it, much less consume this entire thing. You're either gonna die or become a superhuman.
All right, there it is, right there. Doesn't look half bad, huh?
No, Jack, it does not look half bad. It looks fully bad.
I like mine rare to medium rare. You guys may want to cook it longer. See? That's how I like mine right there.
Now, I also eat my steaks medium rare, but if I was forced to eat this monstrosity, I would probably toss it on a grill for a few hours. I don't know what might be living in a steak of this quality, but I don't want to take a chance and find out. Oh yeah, and if you were wondering, yes, that is the same plate that he had the raw steak sitting on. Jack seems to do that a lot, and this is probably the most dangerous time he's ever done it. Man's stomach is indestructible.
Give it a try. And it pulls apart, but I mean, that's probably because it's so thin. There we go. Let's give that a try. Wow, it's juicy. It's tender. Seasoning's good, of course. Well, that might really be ribeye, huh?
Yeah, it's confirmed. Jack was 100% paid by Dollar Tree to create this video. And before you say Dollar Tree would probably have gone with a bigger name than Jack Scalfani, well, he's the only person they contacted who would eat it, so, you know, gotta go with what you can get. Well, what do you guys think? Would you eat a $1 ribeye? I was reading some of the comments on this video, and it seemed like the general consensus of the people who did eat this $1 ribeye ended up regretting it on the toilet, which is probably the least harsh outcome. I'm just glad everybody's alive.
Pour in about let's do 1 tablespoon, see how that looks. 1. We're gonna marinate them in the yogurt or in the.
Today, you are going to witness history. Something that has never been done in the entire timeline of mankind. And of course, like you've already probably figured out, the man who is going to be walking us through this historic moment is none other than Jack Scalfani, the Jack from the Cooking with Jack show. Now, the video we're going to be watching today has got to be Jack's most ambitious recipe yet, and that's saying a lot considering we've seen the workings of garbage stew. Lazy man's chicken and waffles. waffles. Now from this thumbnail, it actually looks like Jack might have made something good. But before you get your hopes up, this is some random image Jack found off of Google, because this does not even begin to resemble what he's gonna present. I don't want to ruin what he's going to do to make this chicken and waffles. You're just gonna have to wait and see. Okay, listening back to this intro, I'm realizing I might be hyping this up a bit too much. So it is ambitious, but remember, this is Jack we're dealing with, so what is ambitious for him might not be for others. But let's not waste any more time. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
I'm gonna do some of the chicken in this type of an ice cream cone. The real waffle cones, I'm gonna grind that up. So I'm gonna do chicken rolled in this.
Yeah, that's right. This has got to be Jack's greatest idea yet. Completely remove the need for a waffle maker. Just bread the chicken in the waffle. Just combine the two. Now, do I think that this is gonna taste good or work whatsoever? Well, no, not really. But still, you gotta applaud the man for coming up with the idea. This is some next level thinking.
Chicken rolled in this. We're gonna marinate them in the yogurt and cinnamon and nutmeg.
You know, it's pretty much never a good sign when somebody is cooking something and salt and pepper are not part of the recipe. I mean, maybe if you're making, I don't know, like a cake, that's fine. But if you're making chicken, especially fried chicken, some salt might do you some good.
I have no idea amounts yet, and some honey. All right, so let's get our yogurt in the bowl. Pour in let's do 1 tablespoon, see how that looks. 1, but 2.
All right, so it seems like we might be running into some problems early on. I mean, really, Jack? Coating your chicken in nothing but yogurt and a little bit of honey? Well, not a little bit of honey, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, I know that a lot of people do use yogurt to coat chicken, but generally, the yogurt is in some way seasoned. This is just plain yogurt. I can't imagine that's gonna taste very good. Also, Jack, I think that might be just a touch over 2 tablespoons.
And leave that open like that. I'm going to pour in the coating. So we're going to leave that marinating 6 to 12 hours.
Jack? Buddy, what are you trying to achieve here? You didn't even put the nutmeg or whatever the other seasoning was in the bag. You are genuinely marinating chicken with nothing but yogurt. I mean, I guess it might make it a bit more moist, but taste-wise, I don't think you need 12 hours. Maybe I'm just not skilled enough in the art of yogurt cooking, but I feel like this might be a tad bit overkill.
You can do it overnight in the fridge, do it overnight. Okay. First thing we're going to do is just this hand mixer. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to crush up all these cones. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and break them in. I think I can do it by hand, but try and break them in here first. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I did them both in the Vitamix blender.
Nope, Jack. Sorry, that's where I draw the line. You cannot season your food. You can eat all the raw chicken you want. But what you can't do is try to go behind our back about using a blender. I mean, come on, Jack. There are certain standards you must meet.
I did that thing by hand, and it didn't go well. So here is the waffle cones. Here's the regular ice cream cones. Let's grab our nutmeg. Little nutmeg in there. Get some of our cinnamon.
This is just sweet on sweet on sweet. I mean, the reason that chicken and waffles work is because it's sweet and savory. But you have chicken that's marinating in yogurt and honey, and then you're gonna coat it in ice cream cone crumbs and cinnamon. This is gonna be like biting into a meaty sugar cube.
Workstation is laid out. I've got the chicken in the honey yogurt going into the ice cream cone crumbs. Say that 5 times fast. Into the basket, into the oil. I'm just waiting for the oil to get to 350. Out of the oil, onto the paper towel over here to just drain. Flip it over. Look how beautiful that is.
Jack, this is not the first time we've had to talk about your use of the word beautiful. Generally, you don't say things are beautiful until they're cooked. I could maybe make some exceptions, but a yogurt-covered chicken leg being dipped into crumbled up ice cream cones, you know, that is not on my list of raw foods that I find beautiful.
And drop it in.
All right, so I saw a little bit of the batter coming up and floating. So let's see how it took. Just a peek. It's not done yet, but let's take a peek. Oh, that's not bad. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Lazy Man's Chicken and Waffles.
Can this even be considered chicken and waffles? I mean, I would say if he used waffle batter as the breading, then yeah, that would work. But he's using crushed up sugar cones and store-bought waffle cones. I mean, are waffle cones and waffles even made of the same thing? I really kind of feel stupid for asking this, but I don't know. I don't think they're named after the ingredients. I think they're named after the texture and appearance. So I don't think there's any actual relation there. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But I mean, I don't think this can be chicken and waffles. Let me know what you think.
All right, so let's do this one first. And I'll do this piece right here. Here we go.
Now it might just be my monitor playing tricks on me, but that chicken looks a little bit pink. Not gonna go as far to say it's fully raw, but I don't know if I'd trust it.
That one's not bad. I could eat that. They got a dark one. I had a dark one here, one of the first ones I did. I want to try that one. Oh, that's really good. All right, guys. So the winner is the regular ice cream cone.
I feel like I've been scammed. Not only is this not even really chicken and waffles, he doesn't even like the one that is kind of close to chicken and waffles. This man gave us a horrible recipe for fake chicken and waffles and taught us how to make yogurt-crusted sugar chicken. I feel betrayed. Well, what do you guys think? Do you think this can be considered chicken and waffles? Like I said, I think maybe if he used waffle batter, then yeah, we could talk about it. But this? No, this is just a substitute if you run out of breadcrumbs and you want slightly sweeter chicken. Chicken and waffles, it is not.
I'm about ready to taste this, but I'm pretty sure I nailed this one too, so.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, gather round. You know what time it is. It is time for our bi-weekly installment of the one and only Cooking with Jack show. And today, we are in for quite a doozy. Now, it is beyond an understatement to say that we've seen Jack cook his fair share of bad things on this channel, but what we're going to be looking at today has got to go down as one of the worst things yet. You might have never realized, but we've never seen Jack cook fish before. It's always been chicken, beef, garbage, stew, mayonnaise cake, you know, normal cooking. And well, that might be because fish is apparently one of the things that scares Jack. And after watching this video, you're probably gonna understand why. This is like an entire video on how Jack doesn't really know how to cook fish, and by the end of it, he thinks that now he does, but just a quick spoiler alert, he came to the wrong conclusion. I am genuinely saddened that a fish had to die for this video to be made, and you're about to see why. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
So I got on the internet and I started studying some fish recipes, and I didn't, you know, anytime I cook fish, it's really simple. You fry it in butter and garlic and you serve it, or you throw the white fish in the tomato sauce and then you serve it. And I want something a little bit different, and I try and stay away from seafood.
Now, I think this sentence is the core issue of this video. I'm guessing he's looking to change up the normal way he cooks salmon, and while he takes an idea that is a genuine recipe, then, in his normal style, he proceeds to forget every number he just read, and it does not turn out very good.
Because it's so temperamental and, you know, you can ruin it pretty easy.
That is kind of true, but it really helps to not ruin seafood if you follow an established recipe. Just throwing that out for you, Jack.
All right, first thing you're gonna do, preheat the oven. Always do that first. We're gonna be using the oven later. Okay, so preheat it to 400 degrees. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna cook your potatoes in about an inch and a half of water. Cover the lid, and you're going to cook those for about 12 minutes. And you're going to cool them down with some cold water and cut them in half. So let me do that right now. I'm going to take it over to the sink and cool them down. And there you go. They're all cut in half. They've been all cooled down in cold water. Put these off to the side for right now.
The first time watching this through, I did not even question this cooking technique. I was like, yeah, Jack eating half raw potatoes, that makes sense. Don't worry, he ends up cooking them more. Still not fully, but him eating a potato like this would not surprise me.
In fact, I'm going to cut my salmon in half because I don't have that long of a skillet, and this is a really long piece. So I'm going to give a nice slice in the middle. Make 2 steaks out of this.
Yeah, Jack, you could probably make about 8. You don't have to cook the entire fish in 1 or 2 chunks. You're allowed to cut it. Believe it or not, it's almost recommended.
Very gently, as it tries to want to break apart. See if we can get this going. Bring it over here into a dish, a baking dish of some sort. I'm using a glass one. You can use a Corningware. You can use a metal 9x13 if you wanted to.
Okay, so I've probably cut it out for the final video because it's just a lot of nothing, but just know that he cooked this salmon for about 10 minutes total, and now he's putting it into a baking dish. And remember, the oven is preheated to 400 degrees. Keep all of this in mind.
Then you're going to take your potatoes, you're going to scatter them all around the fish.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know how valid this is as a cooking technique. Putting all of the fish and all of the potatoes together to go in and cook all at once. For some reason, it just kinda seems wrong to me, but once again, I don't really know. Let me know if this is a real thing.
Time to now work on our Dijon broth.
Okay, so I googled Dijon broth because I've never heard of that before, and I was just kind of curious as to what it is, and I actually managed to find the recipe that I'm pretty positive he used to make this video. It's from 2008, so maybe Jack just doesn't know that not all recipes are good. I guess this one isn't fully on Jack because these are just really bad instructions. Tina Rupp really screwed you over, Jack. But hey, we're already this far, so why quit now? We'll just go a little bit lighter on Jack for the rest of the time.
Oh wow, it looks so good.
Jack, buddy, I know you're just following instructions, but your eyes still work. This does not look good at all. I'm getting garbage stew flashbacks.
This looks so good. The broth smells amazing. Take it out carefully. Look at that. The potatoes are just soaking up that juice right now. Stick a fork to the potatoes and make sure it's cooked. Oh, yep, all the way through. Beautiful.
Jack, you are not making this easy for me to go easy on you. It's not just whether or not you can get a fork into a potato, it's how it goes into the potato. If the only qualification was that the fork somewhat goes through, well then every potato would be considered done. I mean, you can look at the ones in the corner and tell that they're not cooked all the way through.
Lay that along the bottom. Big piece of fish here. Put that right on there. How beautiful is that, huh? We're going to take a piece of potato right there. There we go. All right. That's looking better already, isn't it? Here we go. Now.
Guys, I think I'm having a revelation here. I'm honestly starting to believe that Jack is just on the world's longest streak of finding horrible recipes. Because, I mean, he is following this to the T. Like, the last step says divide the spinach among 4 shallow bowls and top with the salmon and potatoes. He is doing everything it says, it's just a horrible recipe. Get this man a real cookbook and he might actually be able to produce something edible.
I'm about ready to taste this, but I'm pretty sure I nailed this one too, so I'm about ready to celebrate. I don't know about you guys.
Well, Jack, you see I'm at a crossroads here. Technically, you did nail this recipe. I mean, you followed every step, but at the same time, you did pan fry a salmon fillet for 10 minutes and then bake it at 400 for over 20 minutes. You might as well have dropped a nuclear bomb on this poor fish. Well, guys, it seemed like this episode really boosted Jack's confidence around fish, so I'm really worried about what that might mean for the fish population. There's gonna be millions of fish dying around the planet only to be turned into dry mush. It's a tragedy.
Subscribe.